Speaking of tragedies, Daily Wire has this. As time runs out for the passengers on the Titan submersible that went looking deep into the sea for the wreckage of the Titanic, a last-ditch effort involving heavy machinery and submarines arrived in Newfoundland on Tuesday night. 3 C-17 aircraft from the U.S. Air Force reportedly landed at a cargo terminal in St. John's, carrying unmanned vehicles capable of going 19,000 feet underwater, as well as 2 heavy-duty Hyundai winches emblazoned a huge roll of cable and 2 large machines that said high voltage on their sides, according to Daily Mail. A forklift truck loaded the equipment onto 6 flatbed trucks. The equipment was taken to a port where a ship dubbed the Horizon Arctic was scheduled to leave at midnight, although the journey to the area where the Titan is submerged would take 15 hours. The Titan may be as deep as 12,000 feet below the surface, and it's sitting down there, as far as we know, on the surface, maybe not far from the wreck of the Titanic. Late Tuesday night, banging sounds were reported coming in 30-minute intervals near where the Titan went missing with its passengers. And if you've been following this story, then you already know what led up to this. You have this company, Ocean Gate, where this submersible, very, very small submersible, about the size of a minivan, that goes down to survey the wreckage of the Titanic, which is like 12,500 feet below the surface. And they went down several days ago and lost touch with the people on the surface about an hour and a half into the plunge, and they haven't been heard from yet. This article continues. Another concern regarding the passengers comes from the fact that a 2022 report by CBS correspondent David Pogue said the Titan's hatch is sealed by an external crew with 17 bolts, so they cannot open the hatch from the inside. Well, that's one. I don't understand why people are making a big deal about that fact. There are a lot of interesting facts about this submersible, and one of the things that people are talking about is that, it's sealed from the outside, so they can't get out. They can't open it. I don't really understand why that's relevant here, because they're at the bottom of the ocean, so it's not like opening the hatch would be an option anyway. But either way, I find this whole story fascinating. I mean, just thinking about the depths of the ocean, a place where almost no human being has ever been, a place we know very little about. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the ocean floor. And then to think that there are people potentially trapped. I say potentially because it's possible the thing imploded on the way down. They're all dead now. But the idea that there are potentially human beings living and trapped down there it's viscerally terrifying. It plays on every major human fear simultaneously, and it's also fascinating. And it's also been depressing at the same time to see the reaction from the public to all of this, at least on social media, where people have just been like outwardly contemptuous, scornful, openly hating these guys who are on the submarine, laughing at their demise or their impending demise. And it's really bizarre to me. What did these people do to you? Like, what do you have against them? In the not too distant past, private citizens used to be largely that, private. What's changed? Well, the internet has changed. Think about everything you've ever searched for, watched, or tweeted on the internet. Now imagine all of that data being crawled through, collected, aggregated by third parties into permanent public records. That's why to keep my data private when I go online, I use ExpressVPN. There are hundreds of data brokers out there whose sole business involves buying and selling your data. They don't even have to tell you who they're selling it to or get your consent. One of these data points is your IP address. Data harvesters use your IP to uniquely identify you and your physical location. But you can mask your IP address with ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN reroutes my connection through an encrypted server that makes it more difficult for third parties to find me. It sounds complicated, but really, you just have to open the app, tap one button on whatever device you're using. If, like me, you believe that your data is your business, secure yourself with the #1 rated VPN on the market. Use my link at expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show to get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show. I'm just seeing these reactions from people on social media, even people that I know, who at least I'm familiar with and I have respect for, and seeing the way they're reacting to it. What exactly do you have against them? What did they do to you? Why are you happy that they're going to die? Potentially like one of the most horrific and nightmarish deaths imaginable. Now, sure, we've all seen videos by now of the guy who owns the submersible talking about the corners that they cut in making it. You've probably seen this video, but let's play it again.
An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign? Oh,
Take your shoes off, that's customary.
okay. Wow. Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan is the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea. It's also the only one with a toilet. Sort of. And yet, I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components. I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on!
Okay, so these people got into that tiny metal can piloted with an Xbox controller, and they went 12,000 feet under the sea to the wreckage of the Titanic, down at a depth where almost no other human being has ever physically been. And for this reason, people on social media, the peanut gallery, seem to hate them. They're openly laughing at their misfortune, especially because the people in the submersible are rich. You know, these are rich people. There's a couple of billionaires down there, and I've seen a lot of that on the internet. Stupid rich people. I'm glad they're all going to drown. But I just don't get this reaction. I have to tell you, I don't understand it. It doesn't resonate with me. I go very much the other way. I instinctively have a lot of respect for people who do daring, dangerous, even arguably suicidal things for the sake of exploration and discovery. I respect that. I wouldn't do it myself, but I respect that the world needs people like that. And don't tell me that, it's not exploration, it's just rich people on vacation. Stop that. Okay, they're going to a place where almost no other human being has ever been. They're going to the bottom of the freaking ocean, you idiot. Yes, that's exploration. The ocean is a mystery. The ocean is an unfathomable mystery. That's what you have to understand. The vast majority, something like 80% of the ocean is unknown, unmapped. The deepest depths of the ocean especially are unknown. The very deepest depths, the Challenger Deep as it's called, has only been visited by 3 human beings ever in history. The Titanic is not at the deepest depths, but it is 2.5 miles down, where very few people have ever gone. The wreck itself has been visited by fewer than 250 people, which is a very small number of people in history. Like, you have never done anything in your life that only 250 people have done. You have never been anywhere that only 250 people have been to. Never in your life, and you never will. Everywhere you've ever been in your life, every part of the globe that you have traversed has been visited and seen by millions of people. Okay, every time you go on vacation, no matter where you're going to a place that millions of people have been here and know all about it, and they've taken pictures, and it's on Facebook and everything. So you have no idea what it's like to go to a place where in the entire history of humanity, the total number of visitors could fit into a small auditorium. That is exploration, and I respect that, and especially these, I think, because people, you could ask, what would drive someone, like why would you want to do that in the first place? And there's a couple answers to that. One of the answers is in history, there have always been people like this, and we need people like this. We need people with lots of money who are eccentric and willing to do crazy things like this. The age of discovery and exploration in history was fueled by people like this. The world would be a much smaller place without them. So some of that, some people are just like, this is how they're wired. And then I also think because we live in a world where most of the surface area, at least the places where people tend to go, are known and everywhere you go, millions of people have already been there. And there's not a lot left to discover on the surface of the earth anyway. Because we live in that world, I think some people they can't live with that. And they need to go somewhere where other people haven't been. And again, even if you don't share that desire, I think you have to respect it at least. Would I ever do it? Would I go into that? Would I sit in that death trap and descend into the darkest depths of the ocean? Hell no, I would not, okay? But I respect people who are willing to do those things, especially do things that I'm too afraid to do. And I would think that we all respect that, but apparently we don't. And that's a sign of cultural sickness. It really is. Like, this is actually kind of a good litmus test. When you see people doing daring, crazy things, and it goes horribly wrong, and you hate them, you hate them. That and when that becomes the cultural attitude, that's a sign that we are sick, that we are a sick culture. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.